Learning Spanish with Senora Ramirez. On my channel, you can find videos about the Spanish language, and you can also find videos about Outschool, which is an online teaching platform where I teach my Spanish classes to students all over the world. Um, Most of my students that I've dealt with have been inside the United States, though. But depending on the subject that you teach, your classes can be taught to students all over the world. Now, today's video is going to be about getting your first class listed. So this video is for new Outschool teachers, and you'll see here that I am on the classes page, and once you have been approved through Outschool, you will then need to get your class listed. And the way that you do that is you go to the classes page and you'll see this is my teaching dashboard, and under classes I click on add a class. Now once you go here, you'll have to put in a title, and I'm actually going to go back to the very first class that I created so you can see what I wrote about it, to give you an idea how to set up your own class. So I'm going to go to La Sorpresa de Miguel because this was the very first class that I listed. Now, when I click here and click on edit, you can see all of my answers to list my class. So the first thing that you have to do is come up with a catchy title, and you want to use title case, and it tells you that, and you can get your class denied for simply not using title case. So you want to make sure that you use title case. In my title, you see it is La Sorpresa de Miguel, ABCs in 1, 2, 3, Spanish Story Time with Senora Ramirez. The only word in here that's not capitalized is they. So make sure that you do use title case, and it even offers a better way to do your title. It's telling me that I should capitalize the day. I didn't, and my class still got approved. But do pay attention to the suggestions given to you from the prompts. Okay, the next thing that you have to do is add a sentence describing your class. And this is describing it to the parents who are signing their children up for you. So as you see, I put, come discover what surprise awaits Miguel and his dog Spot. Learners will be introduced to vocabulary for animals and colors, as well as greetings. So I'm teaching Spanish. So in my story time, the story is actually taught in English with Spanish words throughout the story, and also pictures of those Spanish words to help the children make the connection. Okay, and so depending on what you are teaching, you will have to come up with a couple of sentences describing your class to the parents. And then you see that you have optional here. I didn't do a learner summary. You have to choose your subject. You can go under everywhere from arts all the way to world languages. Mine is world languages, so I click that one. Your very first class has to be a one-time class. So all of these are grayed out because you don't have the option to do it the first time. Once you do teach your first class, your first one-time class, then you'll have the option to access the other ones. Okay, then it asks you to put an image and a video describing yourself, talking to the parents, letting them see your personality. So, and then this was something new that got added after I had already gotten my class listed. It was an actual video for the learners themselves. I never did do that, simply because this class was already popular and the parents were signing them up. And so I never went back and did that. But you may find doing that helps you get your class booked more often. So definitely take advantage of everything that you can that can make your class stand out. All right, the next thing we're looking at is course format. So here it says flexible age range from 3 to 8. Now, Outschool does allow you to have the classes from 3 to 8. However, this class is really more for 3 to 6 year olds. The 8 year olds are a little bit too old for this class, and you may want to consider that parents don't really want their 8 year olds in a class with 3 year olds, or vice versa. They don't really want their 3 year olds in a class with 8 year olds. And if you're teaching middle age students from 8 to 13, I can guarantee you the 13 year olds, for the most part, are not going to want to be in classes with 8 year olds. So you might consider setting up two different classes for the different age range. So you can go from 3 to 5 year olds, and then 5 to 7 year olds, and then 8 to 10 year olds. You may find that this gets you more learners in your classes simply because the parents don't want that huge age range, and the students themselves don't want that huge age range sometimes. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your class. Moving on down, you can choose how many students you want in your class. Now, for children under the age of 6, you want to keep no more than 6 learners. I put 1 to 5 because honestly, the most I've had in a preschool storytime class was 4, and it was a handful. With these younger students, I actually prefer to keep it from 1 to 3. And I usually don't get more than 3 signed up, even when I have it set up from 1 to 5 students, but some classes will. So you need to keep that in mind, that handling 6 3-year-olds at one time online is quite challenging. Okay, the next thing you'll do is we'll mark your course duration. This course will meet live 1 time per week. And then how long do you want your class for, and how often, or for how long. So with a one-time class, it's just going to be that first week. But if you're teaching an ongoing class, you might say that the course is going to meet for 1 time per week for 45 minutes, and you want that class to go on for 6 weeks. Now, I'm pretty sure online classes, you have to at least have it set up for 4 weeks, but then you can choose, I think, even like up to 20 weeks. So that's really up to you. But for a one-time class, for your very first class that you will be doing, it's a one-time class, and you choose that it meets 1 time per week, and how long you want it to meet for. Now, for younger children, I find 25 minutes is plenty of time, maximum 30, because it's hard for them to sit still that long. And as interactive and interesting as your class may be, 30 minutes is enough for children 5 and under. Now, as they get older, or the age range, then sure, move it up to 40 minutes, or some people teach 50 minutes to an hour long. I have noticed over the years that I've been teaching that it's really hard for students to stay focused for more than 50 minutes. So, and then they get tired and they're not having as much fun. So I don't ever do my classes longer than 45 minutes. No matter what the age is. Okay, so moving on down, you will have to give a course description. And as you see here, they give you questions, they prompt it for you. So it's pretty simple. It's go through and answer these questions. You can see what I wrote here. Beginning Spanish will be taught through story time. We will cover vocabulary of animals and colors as well as greetings in Spanish, and so on and so on. So depending on what you're going to teach, you answer these questions, and you have to have a certain number of words here. You'll see here it's written 680, so you will have to fill it out a lot. So make sure you're thoughtful about how you're answering these questions. You don't have to put a learning goal, but I did. Student will learn how to greet someone in Spanish and ask them how they're doing. Students will be able to recognize vocabulary about animals and colors. This is optional, but you may want to add it. You're trying to get as much attention from the parents as you can. When they click on your class, they will see this. So it's up to you. But keep it in mind that it might be a good idea. Okay, the next thing, homework. I don't ever have homework in my classes. And then this right here, next class. So even though this is your first class that you're listening as a new Outschool teacher, you may want to already have a second class created because you can suggest to the teachers the next class. So let's see, I'm going to put in my class about Miguel dreaming about dinosaurs. They will get a suggestion saying they should try my next class, Miguel sueña con los dinosaurios. So it might, if they've liked your first class, this might be another way to funnel that same learner to have a repeat learner. So this is a very great idea. And then as you move on, you'll see a lot of optional information. If it's optional, for the most part, I don't fill it out. Materials. So many times in my classes, I use Nearpod. I also use Blookit.com and Kahoot. So in this specific class, I use Nearpod, so I added that there. And then I also have a Nearpod resource. So you can, and actually I add it later in the classroom. Let's see, learner supply list is optional. For this class, I tell them to bring their favorite stuffed animal because especially with the younger ones, sometimes they're kind of shy on camera and you can warm them up by showing, I like to show them I have 5 or 6 different animals that I talk to them with, and for the most part, it gets them to warm up and not be so shy. All right, and then I have this little saying for my enrolled learners. Welcome to my Spanish class. Bienvenidos a mi clase de español. I'm thrilled to have you here. Get ready to have fun as we walk down a magical pathway with Miguel and his dog Spot. And then you can add a file here. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. I have this file done by Life with Lainey. It's called nearpod.com. And I add it for the parents, says Nearpod for parents. So if you have a document that you want the parents to know about, you can add it right here. And the thing is, Nearpod is very popular. A lot of teachers on Outschool use it, but you have to, the student, if the student is on an iPad, he or she will have to have a second device because iPads do not split screen, and you have to be able to split screen for the student to be able to see the Nearpod lesson and you through Zoom. So I like to have that added to my lessons for the parents if I'm going to use Nearpod in that lesson. And then you have auto-scheduled scheduling. Parents can auto-schedule a time for the class a minimum of 14 days in advance. So there is a thing on Outschool where parents, if they're looking for classes and you don't have a time that they want, but they want your class, but you have it open, like it says allow auto scheduling, where they can automatically schedule a class with you, and then Outschool will send you an email saying you have a class that just got auto scheduled. And that has only happened to me once, but the students that night the class was supposed to happen, the student didn't come. So I don't know if other people have had more success with that. Moving on down to pricing, you'll see that my class is $10 per learner, and then it tells you what your estimating earnings can be. Since my cap is 5 students for this class, the most I can make is 35. And then that is after Outschool takes their 30%. So that's something else to keep in mind. And then you have the refund policy, and you can, of course, click on more to find out. And then I'm sure you've heard of Outschool's happiness guarantee. And then you just click save, or actually when you go to list it, instead of save here, it'll say list class. And you press that button and list your class, and it'll say that your class has been listed, and then it'll give you a note of some kind, wait for a response from Outschool. And so then you just wait from there. Alrighty guys, that's all for this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found value in it. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button and like the video, and I will see you in the next video. Hasta luego.